Hello, my name is Andrew Gordon and I'm an attorney and CPA. And every year I help hundreds of people pay less in taxes and keep more money in their pockets. And in this video today, I'm going to talk about one of the strategies that the wealthy individuals use to keep more money, keep more of their hard-earned money in their pockets. And that is by using the IRS as a loan or a bank and not paying all your taxes immediately. That's right. Believe it or not, it is not illegal and in fact not even an issue in most situations to not pay the IRS in full when you have a tax bill. And that's because the IRS does allow you to have a payment plan for that tax debt. And so all the time we'll help clients that come to us that have tax issues because they haven't reported their taxes, they haven't reported their crypto, they haven't reported in full their income because they are afraid of the tax amount due. The reality of the situation is that the most important part is filing accurately and filing and reporting all of your sources of income, including cryptocurrency. But if you can't pay, payment is actually a secondary issue. And payment is something that you can often negotiate with the IRS. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can get a payment plan with the IRS. That's right, the IRS will allow you to pay over time. And depending on the amount you owe, they may not even file a lien or have any impact on you publicly. It will be something that just you and the IRS will know. So for instance, if you owe the IRS less than $50,000, it's quite straightforward to get into a payment plan up to 72 months with the IRS. If you owe more than $50,000, they will also allow you to get into a payment plan, but in many of these situations it requires, or rather you would benefit greatly by having an attorney or tax professional help you get into that payment plan. But every day we help clients get into payment plans often for 6 years or 72 months, where as long as they pay monthly towards that balance on an agreed upon amount, the IRS leaves them alone. There's no additional threats of collections, no demands for payment. As long as you pay monthly, the IRS is happy. There is, however, penalties and interest that still applies. And so I mentioned it, you can treat the IRS in some ways like a bank, and the bank does charge interest, and so the IRS does too. And at present, the interest rate on underpayments of tax is 8%. And it does adjust quarterly, the IRS revisits it, but the current rate is 8% as of the publishing of this video. And while that may seem high, you can get sometimes 5% or even more presently in high interest bank accounts. And so if you think of the spread between what a high interest bank account might earn and 8%, it's not all that high. Why might you want to do this? Well, all the time we talk to crypto investors who are confident that the price of crypto is going to continue to go up. And so if you don't want to sell or liquidate your holdings today or now in order to pay your taxes or at the time of tax filing, by having an installment agreement or a payment plan with the IRS, you will have the opportunity to sell less amounts over time just to meet those monthly installment amounts. Of course, you've got to make your own investment decisions, and you're then essentially gambling or betting that the market will continue at the same amount or go up, and that tax amount is still due. So you've got to make your own decisions. But for many people, this is an option that they are happy to have and not have to liquidate their crypto now to pay their taxes. So this is at least something to consider. And you might be watching this and thinking, well, you know what, this is only for people that have tax debts of $50,000 or maybe less than $100,000. But even if you owe up to $1 million, we very frequently help clients obtain these payment plans with very similar terms, up to 72 months. So even if you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's still an option. And if you owe more than $1 million, there are still payment plan options available, but it is more difficult to get, and the IRS scrutinizes the information much more heavily. In general, once you owe more than $50,000, the process is much more complex. You'll typically need to fill out financial statements and submit those to the IRS, as well as providing bank statements and other information. And that's why it's so important to have a tax professional or attorney help you through this process. Because as you're completing these financial disclosures, if you don't fill them out accurately or in a way that supports your actual position, the IRS may view it and think that you can pay a bunch more monthly than you're actually able to pay. All the time I talk to people that say, you know what, I tried to do this on my own, I submitted the financials, and now the IRS thinks I can pay thousands of dollars a month, and I simply don't have that money and I can't. And so when we do it and we work through it with our clients, we make sure that we fill it out in a way that we know the outcome, that we already step into the shoes of the IRS and we calculate the outcome, and we generally can estimate what we think the client will be required to pay the IRS monthly. So it's important to do that diligence, make sure that you complete these forms not only accurately, but in a way that supports your position as well. There are a number of different areas that are important to consider, such as what are actual allowable expenses. The IRS, when they look at entering you into a payment plan, will look at your income as well as your expenses. And so if you have a lavish lifestyle, and you might not think it is lavish, but in the eyes of the IRS, they have standards. And if you exceed those amounts, you might not be able to get full credit for certain expenses. Also why it's important to have a professional through the process. But overall, a strategy that is available is to have a payment plan or an installment agreement with the IRS. If you're watching this video and you think that it might be an option for you, reach out to us. Leave a comment below with any questions, contact us for a consultation, and if you think that someone might benefit from this video, share it with a friend. Thanks for watching.